KP Elevate. Just try to help you stay focused. Crashing like that Nico, smash it till you let go. I know I'm an old soul, here to make the world whole. A point so I won't fold. Can't you worry about no gossip? Every day I drink gold. Progress and elixir, 5G and it came home. I need my mindset, went gold and I went pro. Twin flames keep me lit, forever no solo. Black love, Negrito. I ego, on repeat, acapello, ever with that flow, afro my halo, and I'm hardcore, he polo, white galactic wizard, my magic is macro, captain in my cargo, blasted like El Chapo. I'm focused, what's up, y'all? Happy solstice, yes. Like me some Biz on. Y'all ain't got on it. I've been telling y'all be wanting to know people's secrets, and I don't be gatekeeping. So y'all, you know what y'all need to do. Get you some of this. I rose from the concrete, homegrown in Tennessee. Grandma rose my ancestry, repping for them Cherokees. Learn to cherish Cherokee. Trail of tears is where I be. Genius, indigenous, digging is my therapy. Demonic, they swear I be, but I don't let it wear me. Honor my ancestors, big facts that carry me. Peace on the density, flush out that like hypo. I know how quick this life go. Tiptoe from crypto. Death thought I was psycho. Came back to life twice though. No Kyko. Crystals, no repo. Body switch, no typo. Body hold, I still go. Like Cairo, my algorithm is fofo for show. Fine life. This word is a confidence. And it's conflict. I owe myself. Combat reality, don't have to be. What it gotta be? Immortal war, a friend of full fatality. No soul guys, but y'all should smell this. Who got this on? Y'all gotta get this ready. I trade with the family. HD, no lo-fi, so quantum, we 5D. Transmit my thoughts on. Our shocks still so strong. I flow on. Gotta stay focused, y'all. I had to come in with something, okay? It's not the best, okay? It's not perfect, but it's time for us to get away from things having to be perfect, or we will not ever get shit done. All right, so welcome, Khamsin the Untamed Oracle. If you are watching me now, that means that you are part of my Patreon family. Like, peace and blessings to you. I so appreciate you all for that, because I have been censored a lot. And I have never been inaccurate about anything that I have shared. And so me being censored just validates the information that I share and the power that it holds. So I'm so excited to be sharing this with y'all. As you know, I've been taking it easy. I've been doing a soft life thing. This is my soft life era, like for real. And it is challenging. Soft life sounds easy, but that shit is hardcore once you figure out how to flow. And that means that you're gonna have to take a step back. And that means that sometimes you're gonna have to stop giving energy to things that are no longer supporting your journey, that are no longer supporting you. And a lot of us have been giving energy to energy vampires, and we're gonna get into that. A lot of us are people who had to come through religion to get to this point. We're gonna get into that. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get started with the shit that I want to share with you. So yes, happy solstice. I decided that I was going to do these pop-ups when I feel purely aligned to do so and nothing else. I also decided that I'm not going to hurt myself and exhaust myself and sacrifice my health because I'm getting these downloads and I want to get them out. So thank you for bearing with me as I learn how to manage how to do that. Now I have lives that are like 2 and 3 hours long recently that I did. So your girl still is doing what she do, okay? But Patreon is the space where I can be more untamed. And this is just the beginning because I ain't even started fucking up the matrix like I really want to just yet. So just stay with me because if this is what you into, obviously you are and you're here. So welcome family. This is my Untamed Soul family, and the whole purpose in me renaming this to Untamed is because we have been colonized mentally, physically, spiritually. So to untame means to take back your sovereignty. To untame means to no longer move in a way that has been considered acceptable to society and to find what fits best for you. And so that's what the fuck we doing. I like to cuss. Hopefully you ain't got your kids listening to me if that's not a thing that you let them listen to, okay? My child know what's up. She's upstairs right now, but just letting you know, give you a heads up. There will be some jokes in the middle of this motherfucker, okay? Because that's just how I have to deliver it because the energy is so heavy and chaotic right now. You want to learn how to do alchemy in the moment. And what better alchemy than cussing? I mean, who the hell here and has never stumped their toe and said, shit? You don't hit your toe and be like, oh my. So it's alchemy in the moment. It helps to transmute the pain in the moment, which is why they said cussing is bad. You shouldn't do that. But the whole entire time we learned to write in cursive and learned spelling and wrote spells in school. Nobody had an issue with that. So this is what it's like to be untamed. All right. So first of all, I really want to get y'all flowing and going, okay? I'm going to get y'all flowing and going, all right? Yes. Okay. Look, do what works for you, but for me, cussing is alchemy, okay? When shit hurts, if cuss words come out your mouth, that's your body letting you know that those words contain an alchemical code to help that pain move through you, okay? And a lot of us got anger and rage pinned down here. Sometimes you just need to go in the bathroom or sit in your car by yourself and just cuss. Just cuss everybody out. Everybody's been getting on your damn nerves. The government, big pharma, we can't trust the food no more. I go in the grocery store sometimes and I'm so frustrated when I come out. I don't want to take that energy home. And I just cuss my whole damn way home. When I get in the house, I be light and joyful, and I still be frustrated, but I don't feel frustrated. But my mind is like, I did the alchemy on that. I didn't let that mess with me and mess with my journey. Okay? So do it work for you. What's up, Junkyard Jedi? I ain't seen you in a while. Yeah. My boomski, he's up there getting him some rest. Y'all know he worked hard, and as I transition into this soft life era, he's picked up more hours, and so, this is, we want to make sure that we're being aligned, right, with what we've been speaking about and teaching. So you didn't cuss until you moved to Chicago? Oh. It be like that sometimes. That's how, it's not in what you say, it's how you say it. Because I know people that speak plenty of kind things but have evil eye energy. That's cussing. Okay? That's cussing. That's cussing in the worst way. People that got a lot of beautiful words to say, but it's a lot of nasty energy that's really lurking behind it. That type of cursing, nah, we don't do that. So before I get started, I'm going to show y'all. Hopefully you've already seen the movie Sinners. If you haven't, I already told you not to watch this until later, so it's totally up to you. But I'm going to show you a clip. Because when I was in the movie theater watching Sinners, I broke down crying. You would have thought that my cat had died. I cried so hard. And ironically, it was a Christian couple sitting next to us. And I'm sure they couldn't figure out why I was crying. But I cried because of what I'm about to show you and a few other things. But I realized how truly deep the trauma in our bloodline, how truly deep it is, and how a lot of it is still alive today. And this is why our children are going through the shit that they're going through, because they carry the genetic signature blueprint of these traumas that we no longer really want to acknowledge. And people all over the world have discredited us. I'm specifically speaking to the quote-unquote black people in the West. That includes West Indies, that includes the islands. But we've been discredited. The hard times that other ethnicities and cultures went through, it's like an historical, oh, this smells so good. Y'all gotta get y'all some benzoin. Like, it's not even just the smell, like the shit is, I don't know who here like to get high. If you like to get high, you will like this. This is like a kind of getting high, but not really getting high. But it gives you that elevated feeling without being high. This is like, y'all need to order y'all some of this for real. All right, it's on the website. You'll see what I mean when you get it. Okay, you ain't gonna want to run out of it. I don't let myself run out of it, and it do a lot of other shit, like get rid of negative energy and all of this shit that they got loose. Okay, when the Pope, notice Ryan Coogler came out with this movie. He came out with this movie about 6 or 7 days after the Pope died. There was a reason for that. The Pope symbolized colonization of the soul. Okay? So when he opened those 5 portals from the end of December to January, those 5 portals, the energy that was in there is the shit that we're facing now. And as soon as he opened them, planes started going down. Black people started driving into crowds. That's a new one. That ain't usually the shit that black people do. What is going on? What was going on? Planes just kept going down. Okay? Planes represent a plane of mentality, a spiritual plane. Okay? There's warfare on the spiritual plane. Don't get caught slipping in the aisle tools. I'm not trying to sell you shit just because I need you to give me your money. I'm telling you that I have had some really serious situations go down. Like clubs getting shot up, and my daughter is in the club, and bullets was flying right past her, and one bullet went through her bag of chicken tenders. I could call her right now. And she said, Mom, whatever you've been doing, thank you. And please keep doing that because it protected me. And plenty of people got hurt that night. But she left untouched, and the bullets was flying around her. So do not discount your power combined with certain tools. You are already powerful. You don't need this per se. But if you want to level up and not be played with on this earth plane, with 5 portals that vibrate with the 5 lower chakras are being manipulated and interference is coming through, because every plane that went down, they said it was some sort of interference that happened. Okay, so let's just be clear about this. All right, so I'm gonna stop talking so we can get started, because I got a lot of information to go over. And I'm going to try to do this in 2 hours. All right. Peace, sis. I see you, Black Ruha. And for my people who live in Memphis or near here, I might be doing a ceremony at Native American Mounds. And I haven't fully made my decision and got the information on that completely. But I'm in communication with Spirit about this. So if that's something you're interested in, just put a pin in this. Okay? Because I plan to be able to do this sometimes this year. And I'm not letting this cancer shit stop me. Okay, I'm going to take care of myself as best I can, but I refuse to let this shit stop me. that's another conversation. I'm not gonna get into that right now because something just happened with that, and I got a download about cancer. But anyway, I'm doing all the things, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm taken care of, and I'm gonna keep y'all updated because see, I'm not one of them spiritual influencers, and I hide the shit that I go through. No, absolutely not. Because how can I tell you anything, right? And I'm not even overcoming my challenges and allowing the journey to be seen as it happens. Real shit. All right. So I'm gonna show y'all the clip that really got me, and I want you to sit with this and let it percolate. And then I'm gonna go through the information, but I want to get you activated first. All right. I forgot to ask y'all how y'all was doing. How y'all doing? I hope y'all doing good. If you're not, I hope that this helps you to feel better. Like real talk.
What are you?
What am I?
Really?
And I.
Oh, why is she still allowed to swim?
Now, before the musician performs,
I got it.
he took him a shot of libations. It was his first time drinking libations.
Come on,
okay?
let's go.
I'm not here for you.
Ashe.
Why you here then?
I come to hear the blues.
Oh, no, they play blues just fine in Arkansas. Come on, cornbread. Let's get her a car.
It's all good.
What's gonna take? How much to get you to get the fuck on?
You can't pay me off.
Fine. I'll pay one of these field bitches in here and drag your ass out.
Shit, you taught me how to fight. I'll beat up every bitch in here, you know it.
I taught you how to walk away when the money is up, too. Got you a rich white husband. Got you a farm. Now go home to it.
I ain't asked for none of that. That shit was your idea. I didn't want no white man. I didn't want to be white. I wanted to be with you.
All they take is the wrong person in here to see you or get back to them crackers and they gonna try to kill you.
What mattered to you?
Somebody out there put their hands on you. If they hurt you, me and my brother gonna come kill them all.
Can y'all
So
see
you
that and hear that?
That's right.
But she still won't tell me the truth. I was young enough to believe you were coming back. I waited. I waited a long time. But I'm grown now, stay.
Okay, awesome.
And I know you never planned to stay. Why can't you just say that?
Say what? I love you. I think about you every day. I just want to keep you someplace safe. And I was never going to be here. And I was never going to be with me. Never.
Hey, I've been hearing about this one particular young man all day. Supposed to be a bad blues man. Preacher boy, where you at? Come on here, man. Listen, y'all. Watch this. Hold. Tell me who you are. Where you from?
Because it's important.
Don't show me more. I'm a sharecropper from Sunflower Plantation. They call me preacher boy, counting my daddy being a pastor. I wrote this song for him. Something I've been wanting to tell you for a long time. It might hurt you, hope you don't lose your mind. Well, I was just a boy, about 8 years old. You threw me a Bible on that Mississippi road. See, I love you, Papa, you did all you could do. They say the truth hurts, so I lied to you. Yes, I lied to you. I love the blues.
Y'all move your feet now. Come on now.
Somebody take me in the morning time. Alright. Somebody take me in the morning time. Yeah. Somebody take me in the morning time.
Blues wasn't forced on us like that religion. We brought this with us from home. It's magic what we do. It's sacred. And big.
There are legends of people born with the gift of making music so true it can pierce the veil between life and death, conjuring spirits from the past
Somebody take me
and the future.
Somebody take
All right, y'all. So, as you can see, that scene, among many others, was so powerful and it's so important. Okay? So you're gonna hear things from me that you never heard before. Other people's decoding is coming from their perspective and their experience, and mine is coming from mine. First of all, he said to him that this was not forced on you like that religion. That's key. That's important. Because music is the quantum language of your soul. It carries the frequency of quantum physics. To be a musician is to be a magician. But without someone to observe the music, then there is a lack of power. The more people observe the music, the more the waveform collapses and turns into infinite particles, opening infinite dimensions, planes, and possibilities. Depending on the evolutionary stage of your soul, if you would like to know that, you can message me and ask for a Vedic astrology reading, and I will tell you which evolutionary stage your soul is in. My soul is going through a stage coming out of deep sleep and awakening, okay? So, depending on that, it's going to determine the way that you impact people, along with your human design, your gene keys, all of these different aspects that make up who you are. These are maps that was created to figure out what your specific blueprint is of your house, okay? And where you traveled through time to get here. So both the watcher, the observer, the people in the crowd, and the musician play a very key role. This sound creates a sacred geometry. The sacred geometry creates a portal into certain dimensions. So what they did was, they said, we can't stop these niggas from singing. We can't stop these niggas from making music. Because it's just something that's innate within them. So what we're going to do is, we're going to take ownership of it. We're going to re-engineer it. So whenever they create music, they will not be in the highest frequency of their soul. We're going to use the access and power of their soul to create the prison planet. And so gospel music means a God spell. That's what gospel means. Okay, they took the D out. They always make one small little change to confuse you. And so gods who don't know that they're gods are casting spells inside of churches that have steeples, which is the phallus of a man, and that has the dome shape, which is the womb of a woman. You take those two and you put those two together, now you have Tantra, which is sex magic, sexual alchemy, happening all in this temple. And inside this temple, the music that's created is going to fuel the energy into the egregores, the demiurge, Yaldabaoth, the thought forms, whatever monotheistic religion is connected to, that's where the power is going to go. So what actually happens is the grid that controls religion, which is like a motherboard, it's the false womb motherboard of the 3D matrix. It creates a fence around the planet so that when souls leave their body, it's difficult to find where you're supposed to go. And most people say, go into the light. But that light is a false light because of religion and the amount of blood that has been shed in the name of religion on this planet. Whoever sheds the most blood on this planet in the name of religion has the most power. Blood is important. And this is why we have the war with Israel and Iran. There's some of these wars that's popping up. It's not about power over just land and resources. It's about having this access to this quantum power over the universe. And not just our galaxy, over many galaxies. If you need something, let Ernest know, okay?
He is slid.
I know. You just tap on the door if it's cereal or something like that. And so what happens is we have to remember that the people that created religion studied our ancestors. So in that scene, a couple of things that you may have saw and a few things that really stood out was the Dogon tribe with the mask and the straw around the legs that was dancing. That's the Dogon tribe. The rituals that the Dogon tribe perform are aligned with Sirius. Okay, Sirius is the spiritual sun of the universe, not the orange sun. It used to be orange. The fake one is white. But anyway, the spiritual sun is Sirius. The Dogon tribe carried the tradition through word of mouth of the memories of coming from Sirius to Earth to have this Earth experience. So seeing them makes a deeper connection because I was the first one to decode the DMX death to be a Dogon tribe ritual. But they took it and used it for their own intention. Now that's right here on Patreon. If you missed it, if you weren't with us at the time, you can go back and watch that. I think I spent 4 to 6 hours decoding that. There was so much information. And if you remember, he had Exodus tattooed across his neck. Now I'm not going to get into how that altered the transit of his soul, but these types of things can alter the soul. Okay? In that scene, you saw a geisha, which is kind of like a sacred whore within the Asian culture. She's a tantric high priestess. Okay? And you saw her dancing. Okay? You saw Crips sea walking from the West Coast. You saw girls twerking. You saw someone that looks like she could have been Dorothy Dandridge dancing. And it's so many others that I could name. Okay? Betty Boo, that was a black woman. To wear bananas and that was alchemy with the body and moving the body and to just move your ass like that. That's spiritual. But they make everything that we do seem to be something that's dehumanizing and bad and demonic. That's by design. Okay? You also, if you didn't notice, but the guy who was like, whenever you see somebody like tut, this is what Memphis do. We tut. Okay? Memphis is Egypt. Juking is the exact same things you see inside the pyramids of Giza walls in hieroglyphics, where you see them in these poses. That's a form of alchemy as well. Okay? Nobody from Egypt and the pyramids went there, came here and created that dance. It's in us. So no matter where we are, we bring that with us. That's why he told him, hold up, say your name and where you're from, because your name carries the signature of your soul. All right? And this is why in court, you have to lay your hand on the Bible, what was forced on us. And if you notice in court, most people don't get fair trial. We can look at statistics and see that. Well, why is that still happening? It's because of the book that they're putting their hand on and the structure of the court system. In that book, it says slaves must obey their masters. Who are the masters? The masters are the hidden hand. There are people above the 13 bloodlines. The Divine Nine, sororities and fraternities, the Boule, protects the 13 bloodlines, and they don't even know. They're the lawyers. They're the judges, senators, representatives. A lot of people that are in churches are in these positions of passing laws or stopping laws. If you pay attention to the structure of politics, the structure of the patriarchy, the structure of everything in the 3D matrix, you will notice this common theme of control and domination with people who usually don't know any better, but a lot of them do, and they just gatekeep it and not go tell nobody else. Okay? So in that scene, he said, basically his daddy was like, look, you can't use this gift outside the church. It's the same thing. They turned people into slave masters and plantation owners under the disguise of being pastors. And I have a lot of compassion for them for back then. Because sometimes becoming a Christian, Catholic, or whatever it was, sometimes that's what it took for you to save your family. Sometimes that's what it took for you to have food. So it's like a lot of compassion for people who had to do that. We have access to a lot of knowledge now. So it's like, it's really no reason for so many people to still be feeding this system. So I'm not speaking against people. I'm speaking against systems and the corruption in which it was under. The reason why so many people in prison are there and they're innocent, or they got way more time than they were supposed to, because you got to pay the piper. They worship Saturn. Saturn rules over time. So they're feeding Saturn, the devourer of children. They're feeding Moloch. When they take our 10, 11, and 12-year-old sons and daughters and lock them up, it's the exact same ritual in the Old Testament when they would take the babies and put them on the altar of fire. If anybody here ever been to jail or did any time, you know that situation that you in right there, that is equivalent to a sacrifice. Because at any point in time, you could get your ass beat, shanked, or killed, and the wardens and the people that's in there ain't gonna do nothing about it if they not the ones doing it. But who own these prisons? Could it be the descendants of the plantation owners? You see what I'm cooking? So the system of the prison planet has been set up to come all the way down into the community. Now, another really important part about this is masters. Listen to the name that they gave to people's music. It's called a masters. That's the master tape, the master record. Why did they name it that? Is it possible that the people who don't own their masters are slaves? Is it possible that the music industry became the new cotton field? Is it possible that the football field and the basketball court field, as in cotton field, listen to the words, they had to find another way to keep doing what they had been doing under the guise of sports and entertainment. Entertainment means to enter into some form of containment. So the contracts, it actually is a soul contract, and it contains the artists. And they will be limited on what they can do. Athletes are limited on what they can spend their money on. We wonder why there are so many rich, wealthy, black athletes, but we don't see a lot of change happening in the world. They can't go and get their money and do whatever they want to do. They can't go and get 1,000 single mothers and put them in a nice house in the community, teach them how to grow their own food. They can't do that. They're not allowed to. The banking system. If you study Black's Law Dictionary, you learn about maritime law. Maritime is water. Docket, court, docks, water. So it's all going back to where we first came from, which is water, which goes back to the Dogon tribe, which said that water is the essence of our primordial existence. Okay? Absolutely. And so what happened was, when music started being used in that way, it kept us under a spell. Most people that are in God's spell, right? Kirk Franklin, great example. These people usually struggle with a lot of trauma, and it's usually sexual trauma. And his son came out saying that he had did things to him. It wasn't surprising to me. It's common. It's so common because of the system. The system is set up around children and being able to abuse children. This is how they have to feed the piper. They have to feed the archons. If you have learned anything from the occult, whether you learned it from me or on your own, or if you're new to this, I'm going to tell you, when you create your own egregor, when you create your own servitor, you have to feed it something. And when you create it, you have to set an intention and say, this is what I want you to do for me, and this is what I will feed you. And it's going to do what you ask it to do within the parameters that you set based on your capacity to be in tune with the universal laws and timing and divine timing. So when people plead blood of Jesus, the people laying their hand on the Bibles in court, that blood that they might shed in prison is permissible. And there is no negative karmic debt that's going to be passed on to the people who are in control of the systems, because they trick the people to do the rituals for them. Black on black crime is not a thing. It's really black on black rituals, black on black blood sacrifices. This is something that most people will not accept. Crucifixion is the worship of death. Death, again, is connected to Saturn. Saturn is like a recycled system of souls. Saturn creates the simulated reality that it projects to planet Earth. Now, we can alter it, we can jump timelines, we can quantum shift, we can do all of those things. But at the baseline of our existence, this is what happens. So to be a musician is to be a magician, which means that, like Michael, his music was opening up archangel realms. That's why they were like, this Negro right here cannot own his masters. We must own the masters so that we can use it to do the things that we want to do on this planet. This is why whenever a black artist, and it's only black artists, I don't know any other race that has lost their life who was fighting for their masters except for black people. You have to ask yourself why. And I'm not going to bang the drum and make it seem like black people are the only unique people with special qualities and attributes on the planet, because we are not. But there are a lot of unique things about us. Okay? And now, people like Tory Lanez, who owned his masters, look at the situation he ended up in. And they use a female MC from the South, from Houston, the Hue Stone, the stone of hue, the stone of color, to take him down. Do you see how the conflict and the warring between the man and woman is constantly being perpetuated and created? And this is why our relationships are so challenging. Other races have challenges in their relationships, but it's a special brand. And I'm speaking as someone who's been in a relationship for 10 years. It's a special kind of alchemy that you have to do to come from the amount of trauma we come from, and to be able to be in a relationship with someone else who may be just as traumatized, if not more than you. And a lot of that trauma did unfortunately come through the church and through people that we loved who would consider themselves to be Christians. Okay? Now you saw the roof on fire, and you saw the summoning of musicians across time. Music can alter and bend time. This is why you can listen to a song and it will take you back to the memories and sensations of the moment that you first heard that song, because it's time travel. All right, everybody can't do this, but we are considered to be firewalkers, conjurers. And just because the people that's in church are in church doesn't mean that they lost their ability to do this level of magic. They're just doing it all in the name and for someone else. And the roof being burned down is basically saying, like, there is no ceiling to this. There is no level that music can't touch. It can permeate and vibrate into higher dimensions and planes. Hence, the roof, the roof, the roof is on fire. We don't need no water, let the motherfucker burn. Who came up with that and why? We think that the stuff, we have been programmed to think that the things we come up with are immature, stupid, evil, demonic, and just a representation of how bad we are as a people. But it's alchemy. It's alchemy that's happening. And I'm going to get into the rest of this. Okay, now, I hope y'all enjoying yourselves so far. It was no way I was going to be able to post this anywhere. Matter of fact, when I finish doing this, I'm going to find somebody to download this for me and repost this so you can watch the replay, because it's going to be so much stuff that you're going to get from this throughout this process. This is not just the decoding. And if anybody been here and know that ever watched my decodings before, you know, like, this is an activation, and this is gonna help you shift timelines as well. All right. So we are fire keepers. We are griots. We are conjurers. Okay. And remember, when they did the experiment with the double slit experiment, and they were watching the particles, when they shot the particles through, the particles turned into waveforms. They couldn't figure out why, but it was because the presence of someone observing something changes the outcome of it based on the energy and intent of those observing it. Music is a waveform. Okay? So I went over wanting to own artist masters and what they're willing to do, okay, if they try to own their masters, and we can see that. The red and blue twins. Let's talk about that. The red and blue twins represent Papa Legba and his brother. Now, Papa Legba is the guardian of the crossroads. The embodiment of the crossroads is his brother, Kalfu. Okay? He is sometimes considered an aspect of Papa Legba, but is depicted as a red-colored demon. Hence the reason he wore red. This is Stack, okay? He wore red. If I'm not mistaken, it was Stack that wore red. He is often blamed for bad luck and negative forces, okay? Being allowed to cross into other worlds. So it's kind of like a Cain and Abel situation. It's kind of like you have more than one aspect of you. You have a light side and a dark side, a higher self and a lower self. So Papa Legba and Kalfu was represented by the twins. And this is in Yoruba, okay? Spiritual systems. Now, 1 Corinthians 10 and 13 says, temptation more than what you can bear. He wants him to use his gift only in the church. This was the pastor and the son. But the son wanted to use his gift to lift people's spirits after working in the cotton field all day. This is why fun is a forbidden gateway for our people still till today. And any fun that we have that cannot be monetized by them will be demonized and considered bad. And this is something I struggled with when I was in church. It felt like I couldn't do anything fun outside of church without it being considered a sin. right? But what he actually wanted to do was more useful than what was happening inside the church. They worked all day. Can you imagine picking cotton all day long? You want to be able to have a drink, libate, have some fun with the same people that you work with out in the field. Like when you really think about it, what's wicked and evil about it? Nothing. Nothing at all. It was never about that. So Smoke was in blue, Stack was in red, and they took their little cousin to meet because they had some liquor they had stashed. Now, it was a snake in the back of the truck. Smoke stabbed it in the head, which represented a sacrifice to open the crossroads for opening the business, which was the juke joint. I thought it was really interesting because you think about the snake, and of course you think about what? The Garden of Eden, right? You also think about Sophia or Isis, Ishtar, Mama Wata, all represented by the snake. It represents wisdom. And ironically, you know, it has been demonized a lot. So that was the sacrifice, to cut the snake open. It's like an unspoken sacrifice before opening the business. Now, a one-eyed guy was mentioned because Smoke had shot a guy who was trying to steal his liquor out his truck. And they basically said that his nickname was One-Eyed So-and-so, right? Well, that is a symbolic representation of the One-Eyed Willie song that's connected to Marie Laveau. And Marie Laveau was a voodoo priestess, very well-known voodoo priestess. Now, it was Irish Beer that got Slim, which was the older man who was playing. He represented like an elder Orisha, an elder teacher, okay? And so he wouldn't agree to play for them until they told him they had some Irish beer. And you can look at that as libations. And also, a lot of us have Irish in our ancestry, because Irish people, white was like a new thing. Irish people was treated bad, right, and considered to be less than as well. And so a lot of us do have Irish in our ancestry. You'll be surprised. The most famous mambo, without a doubt, is the provocative Marie Laveau. She lived in New Orleans. Mamba represents a serpent as well. She lived in New Orleans in the mid-19th century. Her grandmother was a slave, but got her freedom and gave her former master a baby girl. Her former master, okay, a baby girl. This is Marie's mother. Marie grew up as a Catholic and a voodoo. Marie had entree into white and black homes. She took the idea of Catholic charity very seriously. Feed the hungry, house the homeless, care for the sick, visit the imprisoned, and bury the dead. Her house was at 1020 St. Anne, and it was demolished in the 30s. That place was a veritable clinic. Ladies having babies there, sick people coming over for aid. Marie was a herbalist, so she prepared not only medicines and health-enhancing concoctions, but she made vital mixtures in the practice of voodoo. She allowed friends and even strangers to be buried in her family tomb. She owned 2 tombs in St. Louis, number 1 cemetery. The one she is buried in has 78 people. She prayed in St. Louis Cathedral every Sunday and conducted voodoo rituals under the full moon at the lakefront. One story has 2,000 people, white and black, both attending. She would go to the jails and she would bring food and herbal remedies. Often Marie campaigned for the overturning of a death sentence. And I talked about court system. The death sentences, look how they did Tukey. Tukey was the leader of the Crips, if I'm not mistaken. And look how they did him. And I actually signed a petition for them not to unalive him. And they still did it. These are sacrifices, y'all. That man had turned his life around, you know. But anyway, she would also help to release the wrongly accused from prison. Her efforts oftentimes succeeded. She is interred in historic St. Louis No. 1 Cemetery in an elegant Greek revival tomb. Other voodooologists have claimed to have proved she is in at least 2 other tombs in the same cemetery. People try to honor her to receive help in some way when they arrive. Petitioners leave things like hairpins and bottles of rum there for her. Okay? One of the most unfortunate things that happened to Marie's image was her national obituary. Locally, she was extolled as a saint and was recognized for her life of self-abnegation. Nationally, though many papers refer to her as a beautiful, benevolent, and wonderful, almost all the stories are made up facts and refer to her as the voodoo queen in a dark and insinuating way. The New York Times reported that she was 98 years old. She also, but it said that she passed when she was 78. Okay, so voodoo she did so many things as a voodoo practitioner. As a voodoo, she did more good than we saw being done in the church. Take that one for a trip. They made sure to put in our minds that using herbs, songs, the full moon, honoring the sun, honoring nature, being a doula, helping women deliver their babies. I mean, how would the hospital make money if we was doing that? If we was still doing that? So the demonization of these things really had nothing to do with these things being something that was going to bring harm to you. It actually did the opposite. But they embedded so much fear subconsciously inside our ancestors that passed down epigenetically to us that a lot of us are still disconnected from our own power because of fear. And it was something that I had to overcome when I came out of religion. But right before I went into studying the left-hand path, for those of you who are day ones and you know, like I share all of this publicly, and I'm in the Bible Belt. Can you imagine how people was treating me when I went out in public? I thought I would do videos about this stuff. Like it was crazy. I was getting death threats and everything. I was like, this is wow. This is wild. Like what the fuck? Like what am I doing that's so bad? I'm helping people, right? And I had to overcome the fear of, ooh, what if I open a portal? Ooh, what if a spirit come into my house and do this and do that? I had shit happen when I was in religion. So, you know, both of my near-death experiences happened when I was a Christian. And so I felt the fear of that. And that's why I started selling products for you to do reversals, to send negative energy back, for you to take spiritual baths, for y'all to be able to ward your home, right? To ward your vehicle. So much going on in the world now. If you don't know how to ward, if you don't know how to use talismans, if you don't know how to use sigils, if you don't know how to use herbs, if you don't know how to use chants, if you don't know how to meditate, then you're standing in the middle of a spiritual warfare and you're unprotected. You don't know what to do. It's just you against everything else. And that's how they wanted it to be. Now, shortly after this, there was a scene where they showed Clarksdale, Mississippi. Yeah, I got Irish on my mama's side. Yeah. They showed Clarksdale, Mississippi, and it was on a pyramid-shaped sign. On the surface, it seemed like nothing. But I'm finna tell you, nobody else has talked about this in their breakdown of the movie centers. The reason why Clarksdale, Mississippi was on a sign shaped like a pyramid, this was right as they were meeting Slim and getting everything ready, is because there are mounds in Clarksdale, Mississippi, built by Native Americans. I'm going to read some of this information, but it's a whole lot. I may just post this. If somebody wants all of this, I will post this on Patreon and you can study this and research this. This is important because the mounds are being activated right now. Okay? The mounds, just like the pyramids of Giza are being activated, the mounds are being activated right now. All eyes is going to be on the south. Anywhere where there's mounds, all eyes is going to be on those places. Okay? So the mounds are like anchors of life and death. They are portals. There are places where power is held from the ceremonial rituals that were carried out there in these places. They still hold the power. And there are mounds in Memphis that I have visited myself. Like I said, I just had an experience happen to me, and I was like, it's time for me to share this and tap into this. Okay? But in ancient times, mounds were more than just piles of dirt. They were the heart and soul of tribal life. Did you know that Emerald Mound, which is one of the biggest Native American mounds in all of North America, is 35 feet tall. It covers 8 acres of land. 35 and 8, that's 8. Infinity. All right? They say the structure was built in 1200 AD by the Plaquemine culture. And they use this for important ceremonies. Do you think that energy just went away? Absolutely not. What happened was, when, I'm going to get into that, but when the colonizers started coming over here, they started wanting to take the mounds and own the mounds and use them as forts to go to war, to have their religious wars and their wars over land and resources. Because of the ceremonies that had happened in these mounds, they held a lot of power. They were like batteries to the motherboard of Mother Earth. Now, this magnificent structure is also just one of the many, but there's one in Winterville Mound, okay? Older, dating back to 1000 AD. It consists of 23 large platform mounds, okay? This was like an epicenter for all of the social gatherings. If you stand on these mounds or near them, you can almost hear chanting. When you just drop in, if you've been practicing, when you drop into yourself, you can hear chanting. And I have lifetimes, and I remember some of the ceremonies that I did with the mounds, and that was activated in me when I visited a mound. But even just by reading this information, it can be activated in you. So these mounds are protected. Check this out. They are owned by state or federal agencies committed by law to preserve them. Most of the mounds in Mississippi, however, are on private owned land. Why is that? I wonder, are any of the owners descendants of those that built them? I'm sure we know the answer to that. Remember, I explained to you what powers the matrix. All right? Now, because it's owned private land and land owned by federal, state, a lot of these mounds have a lot of damage. Irreparable. They've been destroyed by modern development and looting. What are they looting? What's inside the mound to loot? So they are considered endangered cultural sites. Okay? There's a Khamsin Mound in Mississippi. Okay? Now, archaeologists suggest that Khamsin is important because it was either near or part of one of the indigenous communities that encountered the expedition of Hernando de Soto, the earliest European explorers of the southeastern United States in the early 1540s. There is no physical evidence that Khamsin was visited by De Soto or his men during this westward trek. However, they did pass at the very least within 50 kilometers, which is 31 miles of Khamsin, when they traveled down the Mississippi River in July of 1543. Some archaeologists and historians have located the polity of Quizquiz encountered by De Soto in the general location of the Khamsin site and its neighbors, and the polity of Quingoltum being centered further downstream at the Emerald phase, that's between 1500 and 1680, of the proto-historic Natchez chiefdom in the Natchez Bluff region. Others suggest that the northerly location for Quizquiz of the Walls phase sites are near Memphis, Tennessee. Here we go. Now we cooking. Because I just took you from Clarksville, Mississippi to Memphis, Tennessee. And so they brought their ass over here with their expeditions and shit. And disrupted the communities that we had built. As all of this was happening, the introduction of Eurasian diseases. Are y'all listening to this? This means that we were not sick until this shit started happening. The social disruptions caused by DeSoto and his men caused native polities to fragment and fall apart. And polities could be like communities. Y'all hear this? No further European contact with the area happened until the late 1600s when French missionaries, religion forced on us. Remember what he said in the movie. And explorers entered the region both downriver from Canada and upriver from the Gulf of Mexico. They hit us from both sides. Now, keep in mind, when all of a sudden when Trump got in office, right? He wanted to rename the Gulf of Mexico, and then Canada got pissed off about the tariffs. Do you see how the timelines overlap? Look, this is how you know time is folding in over itself, because the same similar things that happen in similar places is happening again. So we have Canada and Mexico as a highlight. Okay? By the time all of this happened, most of the paramount chiefs recorded by DeSoto had vanished. What that mean? What you mean vanished? Was they fighting battles and got unalived? Most likely. Was it the diseases that the Eurasians brought? Most likely. Stuff we had never dealt with before. It was because of how connected we was to the earth and to each other. We knew how to take care of each other. I go in stores now and I see elderly people doing jobs and lifting heavy stuff. And you could just tell, like, if our communities had not been destroyed, we wouldn't even be in that situation. Somebody's 75-year-old grandmama shouldn't be working at no Kroger's. Exhausted and tired out. Just, do y'all see what I'm talking about? So that means as time has folded in over itself, the snake is eating its tail. We have completed that 25,000 plus year. Remember in 2019, I told y'all we were moving into a new galactic year. 2020 was the set of a new galactic year. New Year is on July 26th when the Sirius sun, spiritual sun, rises to its highest point. That's the true New Year, which is coming up. Now, not only that, since they brought up Memphis, okay, there's a fort called the Fort Assumption, or the Fort de l'Assomption, because they always want to rename shit. It was a French fortification constructed in 1739 on the 4th Chickasaw Bluff on the Mississippi River in Shelby County, present-day Memphis, Tennessee. Check this out. The fort was used as a base against the Chickasaw in the unsuccessful Indian removal campaign of 1739. I can't make this shit up. Ashe, thank you, Radiant Light. I can't make this shit up. Why would they want to remove us? And people act like they don't understand why we got so much trauma and pain and we're processing now, and why our communities look like they do. This is just one of the many. There are many other mounds. The Mississippian culture from 900 to 1600 CE. Chucalissa is one. Chucalissa site here in Memphis at Fuller State Park. It's in southwest Memphis. Guess what else is there? Elon Musk. He's laying all of his pipes down through there as we speak and digging it up. I might even go and get y'all some real footage and let you see what's really happening. Not only that, but they're drawing from the grid of the blood of the Native Americans, of our ancestors. Those are our ancestors. They doing the same shit they did back then. We got the DeSoto Park Mounds. They renamed those. Remember I told you about DeSoto. Okay? Just rename shit. Just erase the name. They don't matter. But remember your name and where you from. It carries importance. There are many other notable mounds. We got Pinson Mounds. That's in Jackson, Tennessee. We got Shiloh Indian Mounds. Right near the Tennessee River. We got Mound Bottom State. Okay? We got Castelia Springs Mounds. And I could just go on and on and on. We got Cherokee Heritage Park. My dad actually lives there right now. Okay? And that particular mound is there. That might be the one that I go to. Because it's one of the ones you can still get to. What they did was, the Trail of Tears went through there as well. Okay? When they was getting rid of us and moving us and taking our land. Right? But they built a fort. The French explorer Rene Robert Cavalier, okay, Sieur de La Salle, led an expedition down the Mississippi River, claiming the entire valley for France and naming it La Louisiane, Louisiana. This now connects us to Louisiana. Keep your eyes on Louisiana. Keep your eyes on things that's happening. And as he traveled, he used the mounds as forts. He tried to secure trade with Native American tribes, but they all end up turning their backs on us and going against us. Okay? Now, that fort, during the Civil War, they put a hospital right there near their fort to draw on that healing energy during the Civil War. None of this shit is... These people know what they're doing. They're not ignorant. They knew what they were doing. Okay? And I happen to have a lot of history from where I grew up with these sites. And I can tell you from the energy that's there, I could feel what was happening. Because President's Island is where they put Grok, the AI super center that Elon Musk brought to Memphis, and even calling himself the king. And he said that Memphis was Egypt, and it is. And it holds the power as well. We have some of the cleanest water in the world. Our aquifers are very old under Memphis. And now that is being drained. Those resources are being drained to feed the power system of this grid. On President's Island. And on President's Island, nobody else I have heard talk about this either. But the river people live there, the boatmen communities. Those were communities of Native American people mixed with people who were brought over here from Africa for slavery. They were marginalized groups who lived on houseboats or shanty boats. There were also a lot of gypsies there. They were displaced due to industrialization, riverfront development, or government policies. I always go back to that. This was the late 1800s to the mid 1900s. So a lot of poor families would go down to the river, and it was mixed races. It was a lot of gypsies, a lot of Native Americans, and people from Africa. Can you imagine the magic, the power that they had there? And now Elon got his shit sitting there. Yeah. And they made all of them move. They call them the river gypsies. And they went through a lot of discrimination. And so what ended up happening was the Black River families that were on President's Island got displaced. And this is you know, why he wanted to be there. Okay, so I could go on, and I got so much more information, y'all, here about that. I go on and on, because this all connects to the church. Because today, to the President Allen today is connected to Mount Zion Baptist Church. And it's still standing. It's one of the first churches put on President Allen. It's still there and still standing. And some descendants of displaced families still seek recognition and reparations for losing their land. This is why President Allen was so important, to put this AI super center there. Okay? Now, let's go back to the root worker. Because in the movie, the root worker represented in the movie, she had made a mojo bag, and she gave the mojo bag to Stack to protect him. And she was selling the mojo bag to little girls. And he told her, I ain't seen no spirits, and I done been to war and been all over the world. And she said, how you know I ain't been keeping you safe by praying over you? That's important, because that shows the power of the woman. A woman who's able to operate in her power without guilt or feeling like a sinner. See, to be told that you are a sinner is to believe that you are the bottom feeder of the universe. It's to believe that everything is wrong with you, broke with you, demonic with you, evil with you, bad with you. You're not never good enough. You're not never smart enough. You can't do shit. You're not capable. You're nobody. You are inferior, and others are superior to you. That's basically what the programming of being a sinner really is. Now, after they talked for a little bit, her and Smoke had sex. And this was her way of protecting him. When a woman shares her body with a man, the juices from her body acts as an elixir, a protection potion, even a potion for abundance, if he knows how to use it. This is why spiritual women now are in a challenge of noticing how damaged men are emotionally by the patriarchy, which is founded on monotheistic religion. And this was by design. They said if we could fuck them up a couple generations down from these generations, then they won't be able to perform sexual alchemy. Sex magic will cease to exist. It will be pure chaos magic when they have sex. What's going to happen is she's going to absorb all of his unprocessed pain and trauma, and that's going to keep her sick with autoimmune diseases. That's going to keep her exhausted and fatigued, and that's going to keep them in a space of constant tension. Even when it's not an argument, ain't nothing really happening, but there is tension and there's space between them. There's a void between them. They can't really connect. Even when they're connecting, they're not connecting. This is the shit that was done to us. And the reason why I got into sex magic in the first place, I was the one that introduced it to my partner, because I started learning and realizing what had been done to us and what was going to help us heal. I didn't know it was way deeper than that. And then I did a little research and found out that they found semen inside of the brains of women. And it had been embedded there for at least 50 years, no matter, in the autopsies. They couldn't figure out, was it coming from women giving birth to boy babies? No. It was coming from the men that they were sleeping with. And our body is a reservoir, and it works like a river. There's a river of consciousness that flows up through both men and women. And the anointing oil, okay, the crystals consciousness is fueled by this fluid in the spinal cord. And when you have healed your root and sacral chakra, and you're able to open your heart chakra and come together with another human soul to soul before body to body, and there's no tension between you two, you access the same realms, same spiritual planes that music can access. This is why sex and music go hand in hand, and this is why they use it the way that they do. All right, y'all hit that like and let me know. Y'all still with me? Y'all ain't fell asleep, had it? Yup, Cahokia Mounds. Hit that like, y'all. I hope y'all getting, really getting this, because these some major downloads that, and I'm telling you, if you are in a relationship or plan to be in one, you must learn this. You must really pay attention to the things that I'm saying, because me and Ernest already went through so much of it, and we can share from the space of we've already been through that terrain. But each time you break through a level, there's a new level of sorcery that's been placed within our bloodline lineages from all of this trauma and pain that you have to break through. So going to a talk therapist is not going to be enough by itself. Men are heavily guarded, okay? The woman's body is a mound. I have 2 mounds sitting on my chest right now, and these 2 mounds provide life. They provide milk. This is the milk and the honey, okay? So to mistreat the woman, to hurt the woman, is a man hurting himself and his children. They know this. And when a woman is hurt, the way her frequency moves throughout the earth and the universe, it's either going to do one or 2 things. It's going to bring and summon, conjure more healing energy, or it's going to do the opposite and invite sickness and disease. And this is why we see this now. It's not just what we're eating, it's the energy we're eating. And this is why they made it seem like men have to release their semen when they have sex, so that your semen and whatever epigenetic trauma is in your semen, now it goes into the woman. And now not only is she dealing with her shit, but she's dealing with the man's shit too. This is all by design. They knew that we were so far removed from this knowledge, we wouldn't know. And so they just had us out here just screwing, and literally screwing each other up. Sexually transmitted spiritual diseases. All right? So, ladies, make wise choices as much as possible. Know that your body is your body, whether you married or not. No man has permission to access your body if you're not feeling it. Don't do that to yourself. Our mothers, grandmothers, and great-grandmothers, they all did that because they were programmed, they had to. But when we do that, we violate our own selves. Okay? Don't violate yourself. Don't betray yourself. And the karmic debt that man is going to pay is going to carry out through many lifetimes. It ain't just going to be affecting him in this life. It's the next lives he's going to affect. And a lot of times, they're not self-aware enough to know how they're feeling emotionally and what type of energy they're bringing to you. And maybe they're not practicing semen retention. So, I can't tell y'all what to do, but I'm just going to say, I don't want any semen inside of me. At all, unless we're doing sex magic for something specific. Other than that, and that's rare, but it's plenty of other ways to do it. If you're not making a baby, you don't have to. And it's really, and men really need to be practicing semen retention so that they can heal. Because if you're constantly spilling that seed, then you don't have enough life force energy to even transmute and break down and break through the shit that's stuck in you. And so that's why I was just like blue balls, and made it seem like holding his semen was the worst thing that you could do. All of this shit is programmed to keep us stuck. Now, in the movie, it was a vampire, a white vampire, okay, running around. And he got caught out in the sunlight. Sunlight represents consciousness. Vampiric parasitic energy does not like consciousness. And this is why if you bring somebody to awareness of something that they're doing that's hurtful to you, parasitic, vampiric, feeding off you, wanting something from you, not able to reciprocate, it's not always intentional. Most of the time, it's unconscious and it's not intentional. It's just their own patterns based on their unhealed wounds in action. And so they may be trying to get you to fill that void for them. They may be trying to get you to make them feel better. the whole narcissistic supply, that's vampirism. And so what happens is this vampire runs up to this house and they see him and he all fucked up because the sun is fucking him up. That's consciousness, right? It's fucking him up. That's soul energy. The sun represents the soul. S-O-L, S-O-U-L. The book that they use to put sons in prisons, the sons, the souls in prisons, is the Biblios Helios, the book of the sun, S-U-N. Are y'all connecting these dots now? You got me? Okay? So the sun can make plants grow, but it can also grow intentions of shit that's in these prisons, okay? And the way that they're putting these prisons, where they build them, is to keep the motherboard of the 3D matrix alive. Let me keep cooking for you though. So the vampire finally get the people to listen to him at the house, some more white people. He trying to get in, they got guns and they like, no. And he like, please help me, please help me, please help me. This is that help me victim shit, okay? Sometimes when we, even us, okay, I have been there. When I go into victim mode, I'm sucking energy. I'm not giving anything. I'm sucking and taking energy because I feel hopeless. I feel helpless. I feel incapable of changing my situation. And so I'm in a space where I feel like I need somebody to give relief to me, give something to me, relieve my stress, make me feel better. And so this was what was happening. And the Choctaws rode up on their horses and they was just like, look, we're looking for a vampire. And they was like, we ain't seen no vampire. Choctaws was like, look, we're telling you. Now, that scene was letting you know that Native Americans already knew about vampires and vampiric energy and the way that it moved. That's why they talked about Wetiko, W-E-T-I-K-O. I've talked about this often. Okay, this is the same frequency. Think of this as a frequency, not a person. It's a frequency. And we can all drop into this frequency. Don't think that you're above it. You're human. You got a lower self and you got a shadow self and you got an ego and you got a wounded inner child. All of those things culminate, can turn you into someone who is taking, sucking, receiving, feel like somebody owe you something, feel like somebody got to come and fix you and make you feel better, okay? Some of us had parents that raised us that would get into this victim energy or this narcissistic energy. Can we just be real about this? This is part of what we come here to experience, okay? So that we can learn how to transmute it and overcome it. And so the Choctaws was trying to let them know, and they wouldn't listen to them. They were like, you know what? All right, we're gonna let it go then. We're leaving, okay? And so you got to give an invitation, but it's got to be an emotional invitation. And usually when this energy comes to you, don't think about people. Think about systems. Think about programs. Think about frequency and energy and vibration. It's usually playing on your emotions, all right? So when you learn how to be oblivious when this is happening, no matter who it's happening with, you're not feeding that energy and it will eventually dissipate. I teach about becoming oblivious in the Turn Pain into Purpose course. Like specifics. I was going through some shit when I was creating that. And I was like, no, fuck this. If I'm going to go through this, I'm going to give people some keys to unlock the matrix. Okay? So some people call this the gray rock. You don't give energy to it. But you got to know how to do that. You got to know what words to use when you're doing it. And how to shift your frequency with music. And I teach you all of that in the course. Now let's move on to the juke joint. The juke joint had the same effect as the church. It's a place to gather. It's a place for fellowship. It's a place to sing and dance. It's a place to get a break from reality, especially the pain of reality. And so you could say that both act as a form of a painkiller. Both are opioids from reality. Now, in the book, The Functionary by Dr. Blind, he goes in depth about that. I highly recommend, if you don't have this book, to get this book. I think every family should have this book, because breaking down the etymology helps you to break the spell. All right. Now, Papa Legba, aka Smoke, right? He tried to get his little cousin to go back to church and go to the plantation. He didn't want him living that lifestyle. He was like, look, when all of this is over, go on back home, go on back to church, and do what you was doing before we came. Okay? Now that represent a crossroads. That represented a choice. It's a chance to choose a life direction. That was a confirmation for me that was Papa Legba. And so oftentimes in your own life, when you reach a crossroads, you will have more than one decision that you can make. Okay? And a lot of times we miss it because it's subtle. And the road that you're supposed to take, usually it's going to require you to have a level of courage that you hadn't had before, because we get caught in our comfort zones and we don't want to change. Okay? So, you know, this is just some of the things that we go through, that we grow through, that's going to be happening more and more. Now, the vampires were singing a song, and the purpose of singing a song was to get people's perception to shift around them, to not see the danger in them. So music can be used to make people drop their guard as well. They know this. This is why they use it to do this. This is why they want to own the masters, right? And so they ended up giving the chick that was mulatto, okay, they gave her some gold. And they tried to play with her feelings about her dead mother to lure her in to be a vampire, okay? Notice it wasn't silver, it was gold, okay? Is what they used, because silver, of course, is toxic to a vampire. Silver represents feminine energy because it's connected to the moon, okay? Dropping some keys. This is why feminine energy was so demonized all throughout religion, because it is like the villain, painted as the villain, but it's really the medicine, the remedy to religion. Feminine energy is. This is why they made Eve look bad, Mary, Jezebel, Lilith. The list goes on and on. It's usually the woman. You know, women messed up Solomon. Solomon was supposed to be the wisest man in the world, the wisest man God had ever created. But how in the hell was women able to mess him up? How did they get blamed on women? Adam, he blamed every damn thing on Eve. You see this? And so this comes up in our relationships, and it's very unconscious, and men aren't trying to do it on purpose. We've had it happen. We've talked about this on live. And it'll just come up. I recognize it as a system in the program, and I learn how to navigate it. I learn how to disarm the negativity that it creates. But it's so subconscious. A lot of times people don't know what they're doing, and everybody looking for relationship advice, and I'm like, I've been giving it. I've been telling y'all, you know, what's up. But only eyes that see and ears that hear with a heart will connect. Now, they kept showing the cross all throughout the movie, and the cross was around the Chinese lady neck. The cross represents crucifixion. It represents death. It represents the church. It represents sacrifices. Okay? Cornbread came back with no emotions. That was the guy who was working in the field. He left, became a vampire. He came back. He was emotionless. Pay attention to this, because a lot of people in religion, they can simulate emotions, but I don't believe that they really feel them on a soul level. I think it's just like a surface level emotion. It don't mean they can't be loving. They can't be kind. They can't be compassionate. They can't have empathy. But there is a spectrum of emotions that I have noticed that they can't really get into feeling. And he kept trying to convince him to let him in. And the conjure woman said, something is off. He dead in the inside. Oh, y'all, listen to me. Dead on the inside. This is what religion do to you. You go through life and you really think that you're alive, but something is dead and disconnected on the inside, because your soul's energy is being siphoned and used for something else, and you don't even know. This is how you make a MK Ultra mind control slave. It's the same shit. And so she said he's become a haint. He must be a haint or a vampire, which they figure out later. Okay? He was using words to try to get his way. Okay? Now, who else said, I need an invitation to come into you? Do anybody here know who else needed an invitation to come into us? Somebody that most of the people we know would be okay with giving this particular deity an invitation to come inside of our mind and our body. Okay? His name was Jesus. We had to invite him into our mind. I accept into my mind. I give my mind over to. I become the body of Christ. Now listen to these words. And emotion is what was often used and is used still today in the church, so that you invite a possession of a very vampiric system into your mind and your body, so that when your spirit separates from your body, you're not going to find your way to your next natural evolutionary step. You're going to go into an artificial false light. And then you're going to be reincarnated on a lower level than what you incarnated at first, which creates more suffering for you. And now you in the fucking body of a baby, sitting there looking like, whoa, you mean to tell me I incarnated into poverty again? Like, what the fuck? All this shit I just went through. This is how it happened. This is why babies can't talk. Because they would tell you, look, I was a 66-year-old man, da-da-da-da-da-da. I died, I went through the light, and now I'm here. Getting my ass smacked by a doctor with a white coat on with a serpent on a pole, on his jacket, with all these damn bright LED lights that's doing something to me, to my soul. Shit, the fuck is this? I'm cold, I'm uncomfortable. Hospitals, same thing as prisons and churches. Okay? This is how this happens. This keeps you reincarnating in ignorance. And you can't rise above it. Okay? Yeah, he said, let me into your heart, let me into your mind, and you become the body of Christ. That's your whole being, mind, body, soul, gone. No longer yours. Okay? And unfortunately, most people in religion won't know any of this until they die. Fortunately, I died, and I was able to learn it and get out. Now, little Sammy, the little cousin, he comes back to church, and a man dressed in all white towards the end of the movie says behind him with a horse, which represents spiritual transformation. So he was sitting on the horse in all white as Sammy is coming back to the church after they fought vampires all night long. Okay? Now, the man in all white with the white horse, in the Orishas, the occult symbolism, or within Afro-Caribbean religions like Santeria or Santeria or Ifa, particularly concerning the Orisha Obatala, is what he represented. And I love how Ryan Coogler just put it in the background. So it's just like those who know will know. You know what I'm saying? But it'll go over the heads of those who don't. This is why the people sitting beside me, they were emotionless throughout the entire movie. And I was fucking in tears. Like, my people been enslaved and they don't even know what's happening to their soul. They don't even know how it's being used. That shit hurt me. So Obatala was sitting in the background. He's often depicted in white and associated with purity and wisdom. The very thing that you think you get in the church. Right? So he is the king of the white cloth. He is considered the father of all Orishas and embodies purity, wisdom, and justice. The opposite of what you get in the church. His association with the color white signifies his untainted nature and connection to divine source. Obatala's white garments symbolize his role as a judge, discerning truth and dispensing justice. Okay? Now, there are spiritual cleansings that you can use with white. For women who book one-on-ones with me, depending on what they're dealing with, I tell them to sleep in white a few nights in a row and burn a white candle. There are ceremonies and rituals that you can use to bring this energy into your life. The white horse symbolizes, in some traditions, like a divine mount that carries deities or spiritual figures. Okay? And so this is like esoteric interpretations. Okay? The white horse can also symbolize spiritual transformation, carrying souls to the afterlife, or representing spiritual journeys. Right? And it's funny, he was sitting right by the church. Little Sammy could have went to him, but little Sammy didn't even see him. Because when your mind is in fear, he had been fighting vampires his whole life. A lot of us been fighting shit our whole life, fighting vampires our whole life, fighting negative energy our whole life. And what happens is, you can't see certain things unless you're vibrating on the frequency that's a match for what that thing is. So if you're vibrating on the frequency of fear, yes, the church is going to seem like the way for you, right? But if you're vibrating beyond that and purification, spiritual transformation, and you're truly ready for that, that's what you go see. And that's what you're going to go to. You're not going to go into the church. White also symbolizes conquest and triumph, victory over negative forces in a lot of mythology. All right. So this was the Sinner's Decoding. I went through a lot. It was a lot more symbolism, but I wanted to give y'all something that you couldn't get nowhere else. You know, so many people have decoders, people that have like much bigger audiences than I do. But it's about quality and not quantity for me. So did y'all enjoy that? I know y'all did. I'm asking a question that I already know the answer to. Hey sis, yes you caught us. Thank you, Emerald Bunny. Yeah. We perish for lack of knowledge and understanding. And so many of the people who are singers, like Whitney Houston, that came through the church, her whole burial was Egyptian. She was buried in a sarcophagus, y'all, that was pre-prepared before she died. And she died in a bathtub of water, like a reverse baptism. Do y'all see how they took all of these indigenous spiritual practices and meshed them and used them, still using them today? So before I leave, I want to say something to you. If you're watching me, that means that you are already vibrating in a way where you know what you know. Your soul is calling you and speaking to you. The 3D matrix is going to try to give you hell because it does not want you to be free. It wants to have control over your soul's evolutionary cycle. It's not about this life only. Okay? They're looking at many lifetimes that come after this to use us. Energy harvesting. Okay? So if there are areas of your life where you feel like something must be wrong with me because this part of my life is a mess, I'm just here to let you know that the meaning that you assign to the things happening in your life determines your reality, not the shit the 3D matrix throw at you. You throw shit at me, I'm gonna make a motherfucking shit pie, okay? You give me lemons, I'm gonna serve your ass some lemonade. And this is the attitude that you have to cultivate within yourself so that when life started lifing, you'd be like, oh shit, okay, all right. Oh, okay, all right. Obviously, I'm the enemy of the state right now, and I'm not gonna let this crush me. I might cry, I might break down, I might get angry, I might have a meltdown, I might do all of that shit. But I'm not gonna add no meaning that I'm a fucking inferior sinner, incapable of handling what life bring my way. That's what we not gonna do. And when you stand on that, when you get on that square and you stand on that square, and when you like, I'm not letting nothing break me. I might have to lay down and take a break and pause, but I'm not letting shit break me because I done been through too much to be broken. I'm resilient. I bend like a motherfucking palm tree, if you didn't know, and I'm gonna make sure I stand like a great oak. That's the power of our ancestors. Even in the church, we still have power. It's just being misused. So how much more powerful are you who have walked this journey? This is a lonely journey. And usually only one person per family, biological bloodline, steps out of the program. It's a lonely journey, meaning you're probably a lone wolf. It's probably just you. You probably ain't got a lot of other people to talk to about shit like this. This is why I have this community. I have to pay to have these communities. The community that I have on the website, the community that I have here, it costs me money. I pay a lot of money to do what I do. It's because I believe in us. And I believe that even when I'm gone, the work that I have done is going to set people free that I ain't even met yet to come after me. And that's the whole goal. You didn't come here to play, but you did. Have some fun with it. Laugh, make some jokes. The shit that bother you the most. Make sure that you be like, okay, I'm gonna be the motherfucking host. I got this shit. I can handle all of this and I'm finna give up the ghost. I'm done with it. I'm not even finna do it. right? I'm not even finna do this. I'm not even finna play this game like this no more. Okay, you knocked me back for a minute. You knocked me back for a minute. Yes, you did, but I'm getting back up again. If you're in a relationship or you're having challenges in your relationship, recognize it's a system. It's a program. Your partner ain't really coming for you to try to hurt you. They probably hurting themselves. A lot of men don't know what to do with that pain. They don't know what to do with the rage that they feel of being a black man in America. That shit is hard. The only reason why I know, because I remember my past lives as a man. The only reason why I know is because I spent most of my life in masculine energy navigating as a man because I had nobody to protect me and I felt unsafe and I had been violated. I had to learn how to have masculine energy. I dressed like a nigga, could act like a nigga, hung right with all the other niggas, all the gangbangers in the traps. I did it all. I did it all. Cute little old me. Because I knew that this was a man's world and I had to learn how to survive. So I understand and overstand what they carry. But we must also understand the pain that the woman carries. And it's a lot. We got to go through perimenopause, menopause. We have to deal with our hormones being so fucked up we can't even think straight. Walk in the kitchen, you can't remember what you're in the kitchen for, but you're responsible to buy food and cook and feed a family. That one thing alone is a job that we deserve to be paid for. And we still got to go to work. We still got to pay bills and make money. Because most of us in situations where we're trying to do 50-50 with our partner because the patriarchy set it up to be that way. So we too fucking exhausted to do any magic. Magic what? I'm not finna be up at 3 o'clock in the morning doing no magic. I'm tired. I ain't got no help. It take a village to raise a child and I done raised 3. And we must have more compassion for one another. But you can't have compassion for nobody else if you ain't got none for yourself. So develop that for you. Learn how to stand on your square. Learn how to cultivate an attitude where you're not feeling like a victim. When you start feeling hopeless, that right there, you're vibrating where vampires, parasites, archons will attach to you, and they're just going to put their nasty ass little energy on every damn thing you touching. When you start feeling like that, remember what Khamsin told you. Pull yourself up out of there. Put that music on. Somebody take me. You feel me? Do that. Do that. Work that. Use that. Michael lost his life fighting for some shit that belonged to him. Use it. We still have access to it. Alright? Now, y'all know I could go. I've been on here for a long time, but we did good. We did good. But I want y'all to know, absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, with dealing with this whole cancer thing, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do and how I'm going to navigate that. I don't want to ever be in a position where I can't do what I'm here to do, but just know that I'm handling that and I'll be using that experience as well to share from that experience. Because see, when you speak from a place of challenges, when you speak from a place of things that are happening to disempower you, to make you feel like a victim, to make you feel like you can't change shit. When you speak from that place, but you're speaking positivity, you're speaking optimism, not toxic positivity because I'm on some fake shit and I want y'all to feel like I'm the motherfucking real deal and I'm the only one that can do it. It ain't none of that. It's no. I know. I know that if my soul allowed me to experience this, then I'm equipped to do what I need to do to overcome it. Don't play with me. I don't care how many people I want to die in my family from cancer. It won't be me. It won't be me. Why? Because this is what the fuck I was put here to do. I'm a healer. And I'm going to heal me. I'm going to heal me. And I'm not going to do it the way Western medicine says with your one Kundalini serpent having ass on your white coat. I can't even trust you. Why so many religions associated with hospitals, the first thing they want to do is cut some shit out and take organs and basically tell you you don't need the motherfucking organ anyway. It's not a big deal. I done already been through that. I done already had organs removed and now I'm having issues from that. So however I move with this story that's happening, I'm going to assign my own meaning to this story. And I'm going to live my life the way I'm supposed to live my life. not based on anything else, what anybody else is saying that I should do. And I'm going to listen to my intuition. And that takes courage. Because when people telling you, you could die, this could happen, you could die. And then you see somebody like Ananda Lewis died from breast cancer because she didn't want to get her breast removed. Like, she's not wrong for not wanting to get her breasts removed. I told y'all breasts are mounds on the bodies of women, and she just died from that. As I told you that the mounds are being activated on the planet right now. That's not a coincidence. They're still at war with the mounds. Just the ones that are as within and so without. You see? So I felt all of that. I saw all of that, and I'm in the midst of it. And if I can be in the midst of this, speaking from the space that I'm speaking from, you feel my sincerity. I can't fake this. All that TikTok shit and all that other shit I be seeing on Instagram, people be talking about, be like, I ain't seen you go through shit though. I ain't seen you go through nothing and walk through it in a way to even help me connect with what you saying. A lot of people talk good shit. They do. But I don't know if they walking it. So I let my shit be seen. So never will I ever be able to be in a situation where I feel like I'm not being genuine and sincere. Integrity is the most important thing to me when it comes to how I show up in the world. But you gotta start with you. So when y'all see my emails and my posts, don't get the Turn Pain into Purpose course if you not go complete it. Do it. And do it for you as an investment on your soul, that you will get a return on that investment. And I know it seems so simple. And then you probably look at it, for those of you, some of y'all already got the course, and it's like, this shit's simple as hell. How can this be? I'm telling you what's in there is codes in there. And I had to learn how to do things coded because the 3D Matrix throws so much at people, and they like, damn, I started taking the course and this happened. I got to read it and this happened. Like, that's how the 3D Matrix gonna do you, because it wants you to feel like moving any way other than the way you've been told to move is the wrong move. And this is why you got to get out of your mind that you're a sinner. Nothing that you do is wrong. It's either benefiting you or not benefiting you. There is no right and wrong. And this is why these people do so much shit that's wicked and evil. It seems like they don't never reap any repercussions of it because they understand the laws of the universe. So now it's our time. All right? I love y'all.